Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Oh, look at that. You sweet bastards came back this week. I love it. I love it. Let's win so much money, we can be above the law this weekend. We're going to win so much damn money that what happened to Tyreek Hill would never happen to us. We're going to win so much damn money, Rob Kendall, that I'm going to take my tinted windows, I'm going to roll them up on my Chrysler LeBaron, and I'm going to drive around like the baller that I am. We're going to make the rules this week.
You were great last week on the NFL picks.
You hit the big one, though.
Yeah.
I'm Jason Hammer. That is Rob Kendall. We are the Degenerates Next Door. And you're right, we had a solid run last week. Against the spread, I was 3-2. Should have been better, and we'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. But we'll take 3-2, winning record, up in units, and in prop bets. I laid out 7 prop bets between Thursday and Monday, and we cashed 5 out of the 7. Now, Rob, you were coming off a very successful college football Saturday, but things started a little rough.
Yeah.
But, man, you hit the big one.
Yeah, from the depths of despair. I mean, I was an Arizona Cardinals game away from the Golden Sombrero, and I was down in the dumps. And then, Hammer, we made it to the late games, and the balling on a budget parlay started, and I ran that gauntlet of the Seahawks victory. And sure, we needed some overtime, but a Lions victory. And then, well, the 49ers came through big, and we cashed that balling on a budget parlay, and all was right with the world.
So we will have another ballin' on a budget parlay coming up in just a little bit. But before we focus on anything that's going to happen on Sunday, we have got action tonight.
Yeah.
And consider me Mr. Thursday Night, baby. Brett Michaels, cue up the band. I want action.
I want action tonight. Satisfaction all night.
Oh, I love some good action on a Thursday. Last week, we nailed the game. We gave you the Chiefs, and we hit 3 out of 4 prop bets. Tonight, interesting matchup. You've got the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under has come down to 48.5. And the reason that numbers came down, Rob, I'm talking about the total here. Everybody has jumped on the trend of prime time unders. About a year ago, the public caught on that short weeks and prime time, for whatever the reason, the numbers have been low. As a matter of fact, the last 5 years, primetime unders, 155, 103, and 3. That's good for around 60%. But I think the sports books have adjusted. Last week, primetime unders, just 1 and 3. So I'm kind of looking to go the other direction here. The last 4 meetings between the Bills and the Dolphins, in 3 out of those 4 meetings, the total points were 60 or above.
Ooh.
And the only game that it was not was the final game of the regular season last year. Starters played, but everybody kind of just mailed it in.
Yeah.
So take that for what it is. This is a less talented Bills team. I get that. Josh Allen seems like he always plays well against Miami. I get that. But McDaniels gets the Dolphins going early in the season. Late in the season, we can have that conversation. But the last couple of years, the Dolphins have started 3-0. Home game, under the lights tonight. I'm not picking a side. I honestly feel like this could go either way. These divisional matchups in prime time, they're always a toss-up. But I'm fading the public here. The public is all in on the primetime under. I'm going over. I'm going over 48.5. Rob, we were given a gift here. This opened up at 50.
Ooh.
It went down to 49. And this morning, the gambling gods looked at me and they gave me a Christmas gift. 48.5. I am going to take over 48.5 8.5 here. And you know why? Because these sports books, they think everybody's going to bet the under. George Clooney, give me a motivational speech here about why we should bet the over.
Because the house always wins. You play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
And damn right, that's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah.
Consider me captain over 48.5.
Gentlemen, I'd like you to meet your captain, Captain Over.
Gentlemen, welcome aboard.
Captain, your navigator, Mr. Unger, and your first officer, Mr. Dunn.
Unger, over, done.
Unger, over 48.5. Now, do you want some prop bets, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
We got some prop bets for tonight. Now, don't parlay these.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy. We gave 3 out of 4 right on the show last week. Good for 75%. And what do I wake up to? I wake up to a direct message from somebody. I parlayed all of your prop bets and didn't win. Like getting crappy with me. Like, don't be that dude.
Yeah.
What do we say all the time on this show? If you win, that's great. Take your wife out, take your girlfriend out, take them both out. But if you lose,
It's not our fault.
we don't want to hear any crap.
Yeah, you're a grown-ass man. It's your money. You spent your own money.
And honestly, here's the real reality. I don't care if you win or lose. I just want to do better than Rob.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when Rob has a better week than I do, I'm depressed. I drink more than I normally do, and I drink a lot as is.
You know, we got to figure this out because we got a scoring system and keeping track of things. We got to figure out how many points the balling on the budget is worth because, you did.
We'll break down the units, right? That's the units
Yeah.
of measurement here. So you bet a little bit, you win whatever it was.
Yeah.
You break that down into units, up and down.
Yeah.
Like if you've ever heard gambling shows that take this stuff really seriously, like the male Kardashians on ESPN or the chicks with the huge cans that film themselves walking around, you've got to say units. Whatever. I just want to beat Rob Kendall. That's all I want to do. And I think tonight we're going to go over 0.5 interceptions with Josh Allen. Last 7 games on the road, Josh Allen has thrown a pick.
Yeah.
So I'm going over 0.5. The juice isn't great on that. You give it a little bit back to the book. So if you want to pair that with a money line pick somewhere, go ahead. Tyreek Hill, longest reception, over 29.5 yards, and anytime touchdown. Again, this is positive money here. You want to talk about units of measurement, units winning. James Cook, anytime touchdown, plus 100 right now. So you double your money right there on that win. Now, before we dive into more picks here, Rob, you and I were both on a game last week. You and I both had the Tennessee Titans plus 4 against your Chicago Bears.
Woo!
Because you are an unapologetic Chicago Bears fan. There's someone that's dead to me this week.
Oh, no.
Cue up the band. The Tennessee Titans are dead to me.
Oh, yeah.
Dead. You have a 17-0 lead.
Yeah, that's bad.
And you're getting 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, it's 21-0, Rob. 21-0, and we're in the second half.
Yeah.
And you can't hang on. You give up a blocked punt for a special teams touchdown. And then you've got Will Levis falling on his ass, throwing a punt up in the air, and it gets taken back to the house. Not 1, but 2 defensive special team touchdowns with extra points that do us dirty.
Yeah.
We ended up losing that. I should have been undefeated on Sunday, should have been 4-1 against the spread, but the Tennessee Titans, they are dead to me. Former President Donald Trump.
They're dead. They're dead. As far as I'm concerned, they're dead.
So, I will not be playing the Tennessee Titans this week, but you will be.
Yeah, Hammer, I go back and forth on this, and they're a 3.5-point underdog at home against the Jets. So that means, obviously, you got a home team getting points. And they should have beat the Bears. Are they really going to give up a blocked punt and throw an INT? The stupid INT, one of the worst interceptions in the history of the NFL again. So I thought, man, 3.5, it's Rodgers, but Titans are actually pretty good. Here's the thing I know from that Tennessee game. Tennessee's defense, good. The Bears' offense ain't great, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
You know what I've learned about that Tennessee game?
They're dead. They're dead. As far as I'm concerned, they're dead.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Caleb Williams ain't that bad. He stinks, but he ain't that bad. And they shut him down, and the Bears got some dudes. They got some guy. They got a Swift, the running back. They got a Dunze, the wide receiver. They got DJ Moore. They got some dudes. So their defense is good. The Jets, maybe not as good as they once were, but they're a pretty good defense too, at least on paper. And the Titans ain't the 49ers. They give up a bunch of points too. So you put this together, 40.5 is the over. That's a low number. That's a really low number. But so is the quality of offense on both of these teams. I'm going under 40.5 points.
Under 40.5, the Jets at the Titans from Rob Kendall. All right. Again, Rob and I are not professional handicappers. This isn't our day job. We do this as a passion project. We're making these bets anyway. We're degenerates. We're studying up. We're drinking the drinks. I've got two, not one, but two margarita slushy machines at home so I can feel like I'm on a tropical beach somewhere when I'm watching the NFL Red Zone after the Colts have already lost. So that's a little bit about us. We're not the professionals, but we have professionals that join us.
Yeah.
KB, Kenny Britt from KB Sports. This dude is on a roll. He would jump on with us last year when we did some stuff online. He really is on fire this year. So let's bring him in the mix here. He's got a pick. Kenny Britt from KB Sports. Let's get down to brass tacks here, my man. What are you looking at?
Well, thank you for having me on, Jason. I actually really like the Colts -3. It's already gone up to 3.5 at some books, but you can find it at 3. That's not a homer pick. You know I'm a Steelers fan.
Right.
Have been my entire life, so that's not a homer pick.
You're one of those obnoxious Steeler fans, like the terrible towel-waving, obnoxious Steeler fan.
Exactly. Yes, I very much so. But, you know, the Colts, it's not like the Colts got beat by a bad team, first of all. Houston's a very talented, good team. They were out-snapped 76-43 last week. 33 more snaps by Houston than the Colts. I just think that the Colts are going to go up to Green Bay. I think they're going to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor all day. I think he's going to get 20, 25 carries. They're going to try to control the clock, keep the defense off the field a little bit. And I can't confirm or deny these numbers, Hammer. You might be able to, but I think the Colts are like 0-56 when a backup starts the quarterback. So they're due to be a backup. Am I right?
You are spot on. I mean, go back to last year with Cincinnati. I mean, Colts have lost playoff games when backups come in. Billy freaking Volek coming out of the middle of nowhere to beat them.
It's remarkable. I mean, literally, we ought to check that stat. I bet you it's an 0 for 12 type of number.
So we always say shop around and find the best number. You can't be a real degenerate if you don't have multiple accounts opened up. I think this line might get higher as the week goes on. We're taping this on a Thursday here. I think a lot of people are going to be fading Malik Willis if he's going to be the quarterback for Green Bay. Is there a cutoff on the number for you?
Well, you can always buy down a half a point, go to -120 if it's a 3.5 point line, take it down to 3. But yeah, I would say go no more than 4. I see a 20-13 type of game. Green Bay's obviously got Josh Jacobs. They're going to be trying to run the ball all night as well. But Green Bay's defense, they gave up 150 yards almost to Philadelphia the other night. So I really think Jonathan Taylor is going to – I think he's going to get a lot of yards. And even check the carries props when those come out. If it's somewhere around 18.5 to 20, play him over. I think he's going to get the ball a lot this weekend.
If somebody wants to reach out to you, maybe hire you for your services, my friend, how can they find you?
I am at KB Sports on Facebook and on TikTok. All the information to sign up is on my Facebook page. So far on the year, I'm 9-2 in college, 5-1 in the NFL, which is right now I'm 14-3 overall. That's an 82% clip right now.
I hate you. I hate your guts so much. My man, keep those wins rolling, all right?
All right, thanks for having me on, Jason. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Rob, you heard Kenny's pick. He's on the Colts. We each have a Colts pick coming up here in just a little bit. But first, I've had to call an audible.
Oh.
There was somebody that I had scheduled to be on this program a little bit later on. But once I heard what Kenny was doing, and again, I had no idea what he was going to pick.
Yeah.
I immediately texted this person and said, you need to come on next. So joining us now on the hotline, the man behind the long shot.
Oh.
He is the former host of All Indiana Bets, the Heartland's comedian. Scott Long joins us. And Scott, I know where you're going to go in this game, so I wanted you to follow up Kenny here and share your thoughts.
Hammer, you're going to have to answer a few questions for me, okay? Because I'm in Indianapolis. That's where I live. I'm surrounded by Colts fans. I like the Colts. We're all on cloud nine, right? We won our first game. Is that not right, the Colts?
That would be incorrect.
Okay. But the game wasn't at home, right? It wasn't a home game.
Oh, it was the home opener to which they've had all season to prepare.
But it wasn't a division game, which would be important or anything, right?
Oh, no, it was. It was probably the biggest division game they'll have at home.
Okay, but at least we were playing a quarterback that's been in the league a lot longer than our quarterback, correct?
No, that would be incorrect, Scott. They came out at the same time.
What are people doing here? Who is going? I mean, yes, he made two great plays. Houston had the ball 40 minutes of the game. They had it 24 minutes in the second half. Our genius quarterback who made two great plays threw for 47%. Okay? You take out one play to Doolin, which was a bad decision that barely went, and then it went for 60-some yards. You can't count on those kind of plays every week. People are delusional. So what's going on? The Colts are going to go to Lambeau Field. And yet, a week ago, before Jordan Love was hurt, this was a 4-point favorite for who? The Packers. That's where it opened. Now it's 3.5. I bought it yesterday at 3.5. I went on before with you guys. It's at 3. Still give me the 3 home dog Packers against a quarterback who I don't think has ever played in a game like this in Lambeau Field. The place will be extra jacked because they know they have Malik Willis, who is not a good quarterback, but if you look at his 3 games that he played with Tennessee, all 3 games went down to the wire. One of them was an overtime game against Kansas City. Yes, he's not a good passer. Guess what? He's not facing a good passer either. They're both running quarterbacks who won't be in the league 10 years from now. I like the Packers.
And this is what I love about this show. This is what makes this show so different. We have our resident pro. He comes on, he lays out his case about why the Colts are going to go into Lambeau and win. And then here comes Mr. Longshot, Scott Long. He spits all over that. He's the Hawk Tua guy. He spits all over that pick, and he says take the Packers.
Yeah, and look, I will not take a losing record last week, even though technically I did. I mean, I know, okay, I lost on the Ravens because Lamar Jackson missed 2 wide open receivers, first and second down, and third down, his toe was out of bounds. Then I get the worst bad beat possibly in the history of the NFL on the Titans.
Oh,
one
same.
Out of 66. Another one.
They're dead
like
to me.
302 until both of them changed. So what I'm telling you is I'll be back winning. The long shot will be happening. Don't fear. And I'm a professional touts maker, too, or whatever you want to call me, tout, bookie.
Did I catch a tout in there somewhere?
Knowing what I do. Been doing this a long time.
Hey, if somebody wants to book you for their bar mitzvah, their corporate holiday party, maybe you can come by and do some magic tricks for the kids. How do they find you, Scott?
Wow, that was really insulting. And then I know that, Rob will spend 2 minutes insulting me after I get off. I heard last week, Rob. Nice work, by the way. You wait till I'm off.
Did you actually meet Colonel Sanders? I can't remember how that 9-hour story went. Did you meet?
ScottComedy.com. And you can go to Scott Comedy on Twitter to get my picks. Go with Texas State tonight.
Oh, okay. A little degenerate special out of you tonight? Okay.
Against Arizona State.
Texas State, are they still the Fighting Armadillos that have Scott Bakula and Sinbad on the roster?
You know what? I have never been a successful enough comedian that I could only go by one name.
All right, brother man, we got the pick down, and we will chase you down again next week.
Thank you.
Man, we got a little feud there. We got Kenny taking the Colts, Scott taking the Packers. Rob, you've got action on this. Are you the tiebreaker here?
All right, so years ago, we talked about this last week. You once looked at me when I was considering betting on the Buccaneers, and you said, do you really want to waste your hard-earned money or risk your hard-earned money on Jameis Winston?
Correct.
And that has stuck with me, Hammer, over the years, and now I'm going to do a little play on that and say, do I really want to risk my hard-earned money on Malik Willis? I mean, granted, he didn't know he was going to come in at the end of that game the other night, but he looked like a guy, Hammer, you or I could have gone out there and thrown a better pass. Well, he didn't. I don't even think he got one pass off.
He made a lot of money for me in college. I won so many degenerate specials with Liberty and Malik Willis.
Look, I know there's more to it than just some guy who didn't know he was going to go in the football game. But that's what I'm betting on. I know the Colts have tons of issues. Now they got issues with the Juju being out for probably the season, especially in the secondary. I know Richardson's totally unproven. But the Packers in that game weren't great to begin with, even with Jordan Love against the Eagles. The Colts are 8-0 against the spread against the NFC North in their last 8 games. And I think, and we'll get to this later, Jonathan Taylor is going to ground and pound, which will open it up for Richardson. This probably seems too obvious, but give me the Colts -3.
All right. I am going to see your Colts pick, and I'm going to do a Colts pick a little different, though. I'm looking at the team total. Total points scored by the Indianapolis Colts right now, over under 21.5. Look, nobody's going to confuse Anthony Richardson for being Patrick Mahomes anytime soon.
That's correct.
But I think the Colts are good enough to put at least 23 points on the board. You're going to get some field goals. You're going to get some dynamic touchdowns. And I think the Packers, their offense, is going to help the Colts a little bit here. This isn't that dynamic Houston Texans offense that you saw come into your house a week ago and beat you on opening day. This is a backup quarterback. I think you might see some picks. I think you're going to see a lot of 3-and-outs. So factor all that up. I think the Colt offense is on the field quite a bit today. I'm sorry, quite a bit on Sunday. I am going to go over 21.5 total points for the Indianapolis Colts.
Boy, I sure hope so.
Let's take a little break. But when we come back, probably the next biggest game on the schedule is the Bengals and Chiefs.
Ooh.
That's a big one. Rob's got action on it. We'll talk about it next. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall is here. We've talked about Thursday. We broke the Colts game down. Rob's got action on the Titans and the Jets. The big game, Bengals and Chiefs. Kansas City is a 5.5-point home favorite against probably the biggest disappointment in Week 1, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, so the Chiefs looked excellent against the Ravens. Thank you to you. Great bet to kick off the NFL season. The Bengals are a mess. I know Burrow this and Burrow that. He just seems like a different quarterback, certainly since his injury. But even before the injury, it seemed like they weren't the juggernaut they once were. It's in Kansas City. Look, 5.5 is a lot of points, but you got to pick someone. I'm going to take the Chiefs -5.5.
So Rob's in on Kansas City. I'm going to see the Bengals being the biggest disappointment, and I think they are. But a team that's close, not only in terms of being in the state, but in terms of being the biggest disappointment with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that's true.
At home, getting boat raced by the Dallas Cowboys. Browns now go on the road to Jacksonville. Jacksonville lost their opener, kind of a sloppy game at Miami. But I love the Jags in this spot. At home, and it's only a field goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay 3 with Jacksonville here. I think this is a bounce-back spot. Duval crowd will be into it a little bit. Take a look at the under in this game, but I like the side a little bit more.
Yeah, I did grab the Cowboys. Didn't do it for the show, but Sunday on just a hair up my backside, grabbed the Cowboys getting to. I took them on the money line. They were underdogs on the money line, so we cashed that one out. And, yeah, I agree. I don't think it's so much the Cowboys are great. I think it's that the Browns stinks. Deshaun Watson stinks.
Is he done?
Oh, he was done a long time ago. If he's making $5 million a year, you think he's playing in the NFL?
Buddy of mine, will not say his name, but had some substantial stake on the Browns in week 1.
Not good.
Sent me a text and just said, that piece of bleep died on the massage table.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's all I could say. I was just, wow, sorry. But that's what you get when you put your hard-earned money
that's right.
on Deshaun Watson.
Right.
When you're talking about the Carolina Panthers, Homer Simpson, help me out.
They just plain suck. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
They may be on the clock already, but the Chargers going cross-country, early kickoff, they're a 5.5-point favorite at the Carolina Panthers. Home opener, Rob, you have enough hair on your peaches to take the Panthers?
Here's how bad the Panthers are. Remember we talked about this last week. I said the Panthers stinks. That over was like 41.5 against the Saints. I said the Saints stink. So I'm going under that 41.5. The Panthers did their job in terms of them stinking. The problem was they stank so much on offense, they kept letting the Saints score. And so the Saints, basically by themselves, hit the over in that game. The Panthers, maybe when it's all said and done by the end of this year, the worst team in the history of the NFL. They're going to give that.
Oh, come on now.
They're going to give that. Look, if you're getting boat raced by the Saints, Derek Carr. Look, they're awful. 5.5 is a lot. But I know the Chargers have 2 guys, Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. So if I got to choose between Bryce Young and an owner who throws drinks at the fans and Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, give me those 2 guys. I'll take the Chargers minus 5.5.
So I'll take a look at another West Coast team coming out east. The Seahawks are at the Patriots. Seahawks are a 3.5-point road favorite in Foxborough. Now, let's not get it twisted. Tom Brady's not running out of that tunnel. Gronk is not coming out of that tunnel. But to their credit, they outplayed the Cincinnati Bengals in the jungle last week. That was probably the biggest week 1 win of any dog last week. Patriots were 8 to 9-point underdogs, and they go into the jungle, smack Joe Burrow around a little bit, and they leave with the outright win. So I'm looking at this here. They got a little juice. They got a little mojo. They're going back home. And who the hell is Geno Smith to be a 3.5-point road favorite over anybody in the National Football League?
Fair.
So this is a Seahawks team that's traveling across the country for an early kickoff. Geno Smith as a road favorite, no thank you. Give me the Patriots plus 3.5. I think they keep this close. I think they hang around. Sprinkle a little on the money line here. Give me the Pats plus 3.5. Rob, your Chicago Bears. Now, for the most part, the last couple of years, if you've been betting on the Chicago Bears, there's one place where you've been living.
In a van down by the river.
But now there's hope. There's mojo. You've got this rookie quarterback. He paints his nails, Rob. And even though he may have had the worst day out of any quarterback in the National Football League last week, not named Bryce Young, somehow they found a way to screw both of us and get a win.
Yeah.
Bears are at the Texans. Home opener for the Texans. The line is 6. The over-under is 45.5.
All right, so everyone, it was all in on Caleb Williams, and you'll back this up, Hammer. But me, I've been telling you for months this guy was going to stink in the beginning, and he did. Now, I do think he'll get better. The Bears got 2 touchdowns they shouldn't have, a block punt, and a stupid interception from Will Levis, which you mentioned earlier.
Dead to me. Yeah. Dead.
And that still only got them 24 points and a combined 41 in the game. The Bears' defense, though, excellent. They are really good. Now, it's a primetime game on Sunday. The Bears almost always suck in primetime. I am worried about the possibility of Caleb Williams' turnovers costing me points. But Houston ran for 203 yards last week. That hopefully means a slower, lower-scoring game. Give me the under 45.5.
All right, I'm going to take you to Monday Night Football here because I always like having a bet on Monday. If I have crapped the bed all weekend, this is like the NFL's version of the Hawaii game that kicks off like at 11 or midnight.
Chance to win it all back.
Chance to win it all back. The Falcons are at the Eagles. The Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite. They look good. They put it on the Packers overseas, but now they've got to make that long flight back. They've got an interesting Falcons team coming in. They didn't look great against the Steelers, but that was a bet that I won because I thought the Steeler defense might be the best in the league.
You know why you won that game? Because you got Justin Fields as your quarterback instead of that over-the-hill Russell Wilson. He got hurt, and you were so lucky.
I love the Steeler defense, and I can get Tomlin as a dog. I'm going to do it. But I'm not down on the Falcons after that loss, and I'm not as high on the Eagles as I am after their win. Water always finds its level. We say that all the time. So I'm looking at the total here. I think this is going to be a pretty close game. I think you got an Eagles squad that might be a little too overconfident. I think you got a Falcons squad that needs to get a win, but it's Kirk Cousins in prime time.
Yeah, pees his pants.
So I'm going to take the under in this one. Yeah, all that stuff I said about primetime unders earlier in the show, we're going to wad it up. We're going to throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think you're going to see a lot of offensive firepower here. A couple good defenses. Like the Steelers didn't score a touchdown. Falcons' defense is pretty good. Like Kirk Cousins gets all the attention. Falcons' defense can play too. So I like the under 47 in the Monday Night Football game. All right, take another timeout. When we come back, we've got a trip to the prop shop. We've got Rob's balling on a budget, and we will recap our plays. We are the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door. Last week, right out of the gate, Rob Kendall looked at everybody in the face and said, if you think parlay bets are sucker bets, get ready, Bal. As one president once said, I got something for you. You're going to in for a problem.
That's right.
You hit balling on a budget last week. Do it again this week.
All right, so I've got a couple of just money lines that I'm going to throw in here. It's the Ravens money line minus 480 against the Raiders. Ravens are actually an 8.5-point favorite in the game. Cowboys money line at home against the Saints. Cowboys are a 6.5-point favorite. Both of those numbers seem a little big for me, but I like them on the money line. And in balling on a budget, this helps you out a little bit. Now, the two props that I'm going to throw in here. Number one, Jonathan Taylor, anytime scorer. I think on the road that the Colts are going to hammer the run game. I think they're going to get down around the end zone. I think teams are going to key in on Anthony Richardson. I think there's a strong chance you can get Jonathan Taylor right now at even money, plus 100 on an anytime touchdown score. I also like Caleb Williams over 0.5 interceptions. He's on the road. It's a primetime game. Texans are a decent defense. And let's face it, Caleb Williams still stinks. He's going to try to do something stupid, maybe towards the end of the half, maybe towards the end of the game, maybe the first play of the game because he's a quarterback for the Bears. Minus 135. You put them all together. Caleb Williams over 0.5 INTs. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown scorer. Ravens money line. Cowboys money line. Plus 470. That's your balling on a budget.
I love how much time and energy Rob puts into this bet because that tells you how cheap he really is.
That's right.
Like, Rob is the cheapest man alive. Rob is the king of the $2 bet. And watching you react when you go to, like, a casino and they tell you what the table minimums are, you look like somebody, just kidnapped your wife or something. That's how cheap of a man you are. So when he tells you that this is the bet you need to make,
that's right,
to ball on a budget,
absolutely,
to live the Rob Kendall lifestyle, to be the kind of weasel that gets a cup of water at Qdoba because he doesn't want to pay for a soft drink, take it to the bank.
And think about this. What plus 470, a $2 bet buys you an entire meal at Arby's.
All right. The prop shop. Now, I'm with you on the Caleb Williams prop. Caleb Williams over 0.5 interceptions. You and I on the same bet. It did not work out for us last week, though it should have.
It should have.
I'll die on the hill saying that was the right bet.
It should have.
So I'm with you. Caleb Williams over 0.5 interceptions. I'm not parlaying these together. I'm an individual bet guy for the most part. But because there's so much juice here, minus 135, minus 157, depending on your book, pair that with another bet that you like. Take a money line winner just to get a little bit of the juice back in your pocket. Joe Burrow of the Bengals, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He always plays well against the Kansas City Chiefs, and Joe Burrow is good. Last week was, I think, the exception and not the rule. Joe Burrow might have a banged-up hand. He might not have as many weapons as he used to, but I think they're going to be trailing in this game, which means they have to throw the ball. Joe Burrow back on track, over 1.5 touchdowns. That's plus money, plus 114. And Jonathan Taylor, under 78.5 rushing yards. Packers know Anthony Richardson is not going to beat them through the air. Yes, he can throw the deep ball, but he can't move the chains on third down and make the easy throws. If you're the Packer defense, who would you rather shut down? The Colt running game or the Colts passing game? They're going to stack the box. Jonathan Taylor might score that touchdown, but I don't think he's getting near 79 yards. So those are my prop bets at this week's prop shop. All right. For those of you who just fast forward to the end of the show, first of all, thank you for the download. But let's recap the plays that we have. Rob, go ahead.
All right, I like in the Sunday night affair, the Texans and Bears under 45.5. I like the Colts giving 3 at the Packers. Chargers giving 5.5 at the Panthers. Chiefs giving 5.5 at home to the Bengals. And the Jets at the Titans under 40.5 points. You're balling on a budget. Caleb Williams over 0.5 interceptions. Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown. Ravens money line against the Raiders. And Cowboys money line against the Saints.
Thursday night football. Tonight, I am in on the over. Bills at Dolphins over 48.5. I've also got Josh Allen over 0.5 interceptions. Tyreek Hill, longest reception, over 29.5 yards, and anytime touchdown, plus money with James Cook. Also, I've got the Colts over 21.5 total points for the team. Colts team total over 21.5. I'm laying 3. Jaguars hosting Cleveland. And I love how I put the wire in there. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That's my tribute to Scott Long. Like, he's not from Beech Grove. Mm-hmm. He didn't go to school in Muncie like I did, but I know it's Jaguars. Whenever we have Scott Long on the show, it's kind of an inside joke. He channels his inner Iowa hillbilly and calls them the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So I'll lay 3. The Jaguars knocking off Cleveland. The Pats, I'll catch 3.5 points at home against Seattle. I'll take the points. And Monday Night Football, under 47 points scored. Trip to the prop shop. We've got Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdowns. That's plus money. Jonathan Taylor under 78.5 rushing yards. And like Rob, Caleb Williams over 0.5 interceptions. All right, everybody, those are our bets. If you win, congratulations. If you lose, sucks. But all we care about is beating each other on this show. So, on behalf of the representative of Brownsburg, Indiana, Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show, I am Jason Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel Show. Special thanks to Kenny Britt. Special thanks to comedian Scott Long. We will talk to you Tuesday. New podcast comes out Tuesday, the College Football Show. We'll be back with the NFL edition next Thursday. Until then, may the odds be ever in your favor.